all runs together after a while. I can't remember if I got chapter 7 running last night or this morning, which is why I want to keep my notes up to date while they're fresh. Title card. Turn that off. We'll turn the Dell. The Dell's still on. Video capture device. I'm sitting down. I might stand back up in a minute. For now, we'll leave it off. These are for an upcoming project, so let's just get back to our book. This is the hardest thing to get focused on, is just to make it through, but we're almost there. This concludes the configuration of our new module. Now we can move on to creating our module entities. We'll begin with our module service. I was further down than that. Come on. Adding the template. That seems closer. I think I was right in here. Implementing the edit subcomponent. Adding the template. That sounds closer. Implementing the view subcomponent. Feels like we're right in here somewhere. We got to that delete button was new. We probably read through this code. Let's make sure it looks familiar. Maybe not. Let's go up a little bit further. This does, yeah, I remember these double error messages. I remember hitting those. Okay. I know we were this far down. I remember looking on this thing, the bar on the right. Our view subcomponent will be taken care of presenting a single article. Our component will also contain a set of buttons that are visible only to the article creator. The create template contains a simple form with 2 text input fields and a submit button. The text fields use the Angular module. Okay, kind of getting it. It'll make more sense once I see the code running, I'm sure. No validate. Okay. A view to view an existing article. delete the article or navigate to the edit route. To create the template, go to the public app articles view folder and create a new file named view template. In your new file, paste the following code snippet. Article title, Angular if article and article creator, article and article creator, Angular if article and article creator, Angular if allow edit, if article and article creator. Okay. Articles, article ID, edit, router, link, div, Angular if allow edit, button, click delete. Okay. Posted on article created by article creator full name. Article content. The view template contains a simple set of HTML elements representing the article information using the double curly braces syntax. It is also important to note how you used the Angular if directive to present the article edit link and delete button only to the creator of the article. The edit link will direct the user to the edit subcomponent, while the delete button will call the delete method of your controller. Next, we'll implement our edit component. Implementing the edit subcomponent. Our edit subcomponent will be taking care of editing existing articles. Begin by creating a new folder named edit inside your public app articles folder. In this folder, create a new file named edit component TypeScript and paste the following code. Whoa, it's a big chunk there. Don't be such a big chunk of code, man. Why you gotta be such a big chunk of code? Important component from Angular core. Important router, activated route from Angular router. Important article services from article services. It's funny how little you have to understand this to be able to use it sometimes. I mean, I'm trying to understand it, but it's just so much to it sometimes. So you just gotta use it and hope it works, and see what bug message and errors you get and track them down. And it's doable, but it just seems like, oh my gosh, so much to read. But I think I get it. Again, we started by importing the human text outside of it helps. It's like you read all this and you're like, what are they saying? But if you read out here, it gives you context, helps you figure it out. Our edit subcomponent will be taking care of editing existing articles. Begin by creating a new folder named edit inside your public app articles folder. In this folder, create a new file named edit component TypeScript and paste the following code. Again, we started by importing the modules we need from the Angular library along with our article services. Then we created our component with an Angular property and an error message property in our constructor. We read the article ID from the route parameters, and then we used article service to fetch an existing article. In our observable subscription, we set the component's article property. In case of an error, we use the router service to navigate back to our list route. Lastly, we implemented an update method that uses article service to update the viewed article and go back to the view route. To finish up with our subcomponent, we'll need to create its template, adding the template. This might be where I got last time, but if I did, it wasn't sinking in. I had to review it again. The edit template will provide your user with an interface to update an existing article. It will contain an HTML form, and it will use your component's update method to save the updated article. To create this template, go to the public app articles edit folder and create a new file named edit template HTML. In your new file, paste the following HTML code: title, content, error message. See, I remember these, but maybe that's not the first time they've been up. I'm sure we've had other error messages. Edit article. The edit template contains a simple form with 2 text input fields and a submit button. The text fields use the Angular model directive to bind the user input to the component's article property. It is also important to note that the Angular submit directive you placed in the form element. This time the directive tells Angular that the form submission should execute your component's update method. The last thing you should notice is the error message at the end of the form, which will be shown in the case of an editing error. Our final subcomponent is our list subcomponent, implementing the list subcomponent. Our list subcomponent will be taking care of presenting a list of articles. We'll begin by creating a new folder named list inside our public app articles folder. In this folder, create a new file named list component TypeScript and paste the following code. Import component from Angular, import article services from article service, component selector list, template URL, list template export class, list component articles any error message string, articles any okay constructor, Angular on it, this article service list, subscribe articles. We started by importing the modules we need from the Angular library along with our article service. Then we created our component with an articles property and an error message property. Note how our component's constructor injects article service and uses it to fetch a list of articles inside our observable subscription. We set the component's articles property. Now all we have left to do is implement the component's template. Adding the template. The list template will provide your user with an interface to view the list of existing articles. Our template will use the Angular for directive to render a list of HTML elements, each representing a single article. If there aren't any existing articles, the view will offer the user to navigate to the create route. To create your view, go to the public app articles list folder and create a new file named list template HTML. In your new file, paste the following code snippet. Let article of articles, list Angular for let article of articles, anchor router link equals articles article ID article title. Okay, that makes sense to me actually, more than I expected it to. Small article created, article creator full name, article content, paragraph, end list item, end of unordered list. Okay, the unordered list has a directive of Angular 4 directives. And then another div with the after the Angular 4, we've got an Angular if articles and articles length equals 0. No articles yet. Why don't you create one? So that only shows up as long as the length of this array is absolutely equal to 0. So as soon as there's one in there, it says, as soon as it says there's one in there, then this directive turns off, saying, so we'll just show a list of the links, or it'll show you a link to start adding links to articles. So that's cool. That's the two-way data binding we're trying to get our heads around here, figure out how to make these things. The list template contains a simple set of repeating HTML elements that represent the list of articles. It uses the Angular for directive to duplicate the list item for every article in the collection and displays each article's information. We then used router link to link to a single article view. It is also important to note how we use the Angular if directive to ask the user to create a new article in case there are no existing articles. By implementing your Angular subcomponents, you practically finished your first CRUD module. All that is left to do is provide the user with links to our new routes. Okay, I've been avoiding the orange check boxes, but let's go to wrapping up, and that should be a relatively short page there. So this should be the links they said we're going to give them. To finish our implementation, it would be great to provide the user with links to your new CRUD module routes. To do that, go to your public app home template HTML file and change it as follows. Hello, sign out, list articles, create article, sign up, sign in. This change will present our users with links to the new articles component routes only when they're logged in and hide it when they're not. This is it. Everything is ready for you to test your new CRUD module. Use your command line tool and navigate to the main applications root folder, then run your application. Here's what we've been looking for. npm start. So we're going to go back to take one of these. Go to GitHub. That was a long read, but we got through a chapter in a day. I feel like I'm making progress. I'm not really a fast reader, but we got code running either last night or this morning for chapter 7, and then we got through chapter 8 today, so I feel really good about all that. Here we are, we're in chapter 8, it's what we're looking for. And we're going to go into the readme. Oh, there is no readme. Well, aren't you a stinker? It's fine. We'll add our readme. In fact, I'll get another page to copy from. The code must go on. Okay, let's get back to here. Yeah, chapter 8. Oh, go there. There we go. Okay, I was going to copy some stuff in there, but it's not as empty as I thought it was, so I won't worry about it. I'm just going to put our instructions in there. And that's going to be part of an ordered list, which is that markdown. Commit that to the master. Commit to the master. For it's a disaster. npm start. Okay, we need that. So we don't even do the install. I might do the install still. Apparently we don't, because all we've done is change local code. There's no install. So I'll try it with just the npm start next time. Once your application is running, use your browser and navigate to localhost 3000. You'll see the sign up and sign in links. Try to sign in and watch how the home view changes. Then try to navigate to the localhost 3000 articles URL and see how the list component suggests that you create a new article. Continue to create a new article and try to edit and delete it using the components you created previously. Your CRUD module should be fully operational. That's exciting. It's a good cliffhanger. Let's read the summary real quick. We'll call this our theory, Pomodoro, and then we'll come back for a Pomodoro lab trying to get this to work. In this chapter, you learned how to build your first CRUD module. You started by defining the Moongoose module. model, and express controller and learned how to implement each CRUD method. You also authorized your controller method using express middleware. Then you defined a RESTful API for your module methods. You learned a bit about reactive programming and the observer pattern. You used the HTTP client to communicate with your API. Then you created your Angular component and implemented the Angular CRUD functionality. After connecting the four parts of a main application and creating your first CRUD module, in the next chapter you'll use Socket.io in order to add real-time connectivity between your server and client applications. Alright, that's getting pretty high level. We're going to do some Socket.io next, guys. Up next, Chapter 9, adding real-time functionality using Socket.io. No, what's next is a lab. We're going to go into the, we're going to fire the server up, and we're going to open this copy of 8, and we're going to see if we can get it to run. Alright, taking a break. A real break this time. Probably go check on, got some chicken for dinner, boiling for dinner. So we'll go, or simmering, whatever it does. We'll see, go take a look at that. I'm not worried about previewing 9. In fact, I'm just going to close this whole window for a while, probably. We got our one command, npm start. Wrapping up. npm start. Close. Alright, what else we got? 8. We got another copy of the book. That's what's wrong. Our programming music stopped. I can't keep working. It's 5 o'clock. Programming music's off. It's time to get up, get out of the office for a minute. The point of working from home is not to be working all day long. Okay. Do one more of these. This is exhausting. You wouldn't believe how exhausting it is just to like sit here and look at the keyboard and the computer monitor all day. Light diet would help. Need to start eating a little healthier. So this kind of looks interesting.